Nigel Farage, more than almost any other politician in Britain, must be drunk on the allure of headlines because he's at the top every single day. He's preparing to host what is being touted as the biggest inauguration party in Washington, D.C., underscoring his continued prominence in both the UK and US politics. And the event, to be held at the prestigious Hay Adams Hotel, promises to bring together a glittering cast of right-wing luminaries, including Trump, Elon Musk, and an assortment of political heavyweights from both sides of the Atlantic, drawing a line under the Musk spat. Yet the backdrop to this grandiose event is anything but smooth, with Farage navigating controversies at home and abroad, but with ease. Farage's DC bash is not just a social gathering, but it's a strategic power play. With Elon Musk on the guest list, despite recent friction over Farage's leadership of Reform UK, the event serves as an opportunity for Farage to publicly mend fences, reinforce his relevance, and Musk's public criticism, including his call for Farage to step down, will highlight the strength of their alliance rather than the fragility. The presence of high-profile figures like Trump and even the UK ambassador Mandelson speaks to Farage's enduring political clout despite the Reform Party's challenges. And controversies surround Farage, but that keeps him in the headlines. The party schisms, the councillor resignations. He faces internal dissent, with 10 Reform UK councillors resigning en masse over accusations of autocratic leadership and mismanagement. This blow, it would be a blow to any politician, not so much to Farage. He rides it like the waves on the sea. As Reform struggles to maintain momentum, does it hell? It simply breeds another headline. The defection of those like Howard Cox, its former London mayoral candidate. So what? The grooming gangs and Tommy Robinson. Farage's stance there, including his criticism of the police and his scepticism towards the government's handling of related inquiries, the discovery of letters, it just simply kept him in the headlines. And his calibrated comments on far-right activist Tommy Robinson, likely aimed at placating Musk, have drawn ire from both Reform loyalists and detractors, but so what? It keeps him in the headlines. And then his Shamina Begum issues, he's following me in his willingness to consider the return of Begum to the UK, albeit with reservations and probably with a jail sentence. It sparked controversy. His remarks, inspired by the arguments from Trump's former advisor Sebastian Gorka, show a rare nuance, but they've alienated some of his base, of course. They've drawn fire from the Conservative bench and leadership like Kemi Badenoch, but so what? It keeps him in the headlines. Farage has a number of strategic regroupings to master. He needs to rebuild his ties with Musk. Musk's influence, both financial and symbolic, cannot be overstated, and he has to repair that relationship. Otherwise, that will undermine his base. It determines Reform UK's future trajectory. He needs to capitalise on the divisions in Parliament and the grooming gang scandal, the frustrations with Labour's handling of the issue over this is all important for Farage's to build up Farage's populist rhetoric. It's fertile ground, and his act of distancing himself from Tommy Robinson while appeasing his supporters over the grooming gangs scandal, again, it keeps him in the headlines. But it is a balancing trick. And by hosting the high-profile event in DC, that is going to eclipse much of this nonsense. The spectacle of the Washington Party could be overshadowed by dissent within Reform UK, but I think it's more likely that the party itself will establish Farage's importance, and Musk's support for Rupert Lowe. Rupert Lowe, who is he? I thought when Musk mentioned Rupert Lowe that he was talking about Rob Lowe, the actor, who would be a so much better replacement candidate for Nigel Farage. You could do an action film. And Farage's Washington inauguration party is an attempt to establish his attention, his how he commands attention, to wield influence on the global stage in a way that in normal life only prime ministers can do. This is extraordinary. The fractures within the Reform UK, his contentious positions on issues like the grooming gangs and the Begum scandal highlight the challenges he faces maintaining both his party's cohesion and his own credibility. But nobody can doubt his ability to command the headlines. The only question that remains, can Farage translate spectacle into sustainable political success? Or will the cracks in his foundation prove insurmountable, particularly with our first past-the-post political system?